So we won't say anything stupid.
We're going live on YouTube. So let's see if it loads. All right, we are live on YouTube. We're going live on YouTube. So let's live on YouTube.
If you are joining us now for this webinar, please let us know who you are and what school district you're from or what school you're from in the chat box while we're waiting to start. All right, I see people signing in and letting us know where you're from. That's exciting. Please remember, if you've just joined us, to let us know where you're from. We're anxious that you're here. Hi, Chima. Shelby, are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, welcome everyone to CAHPERD Core Zoom presentations. My name is Patty Supay, and I am this year's CAHPERD president. I'm hoping that you're enjoying these valuable presentations hosted by CAHPERD. So far, our response has been overwhelming, and we are so pleased to be able to pull together these great presentations to offer teachers that they need in these uncertain times. Remember that your professional organization, CAHPERD, is working hard for you on a daily basis to ensure that you have the resources you need, as well as advocating at the state and national level to ensure that our jobs are protected. Behind the scene work is done every day by dedicated volunteers, such as those that are here today helping us with these slides and this presentation. I want to personally thank Shelby Lozano for her undying dedication to CAHPERD and her continuing work here on these presentations. Remember, this work and these great presentations rely on your membership. Our jobs depend on it. Together, we will have a larger voice in California. Now, before we bring on our special guest presenter today, we want to let you know that all of our sessions so far in this series are available on the CAHPERD website, along with the resources that are utilized in each presentation. In addition, you can find these presentations on the CAHPERD YouTube channel. As each session, including this one, is streamed also live on YouTube. We have 3 upcoming sessions dealing with health education brought to you by Janice Price, program specialist for the health and wellness team in the Orange County Department of Education, and the current VP-elect of Health Education for CAHPERD. On September 29th, she will be joined by Shape America representatives presenting social and emotional learning utilizing Health Moves Minds and mindfulness resources. This session offers free social and emotional learning curriculum for kinder through high school. You'll also learn how to register your school and download some great resources. On October 13th, health education, new resources for synchronous and asynchronous activities. This session, she'll be sharing resources for health education, highlighting curriculum and resources that are designed for both of these types of learning. And on October 27th, she'll be talking about comprehensive sexual health resources and the California Healthy Youth Act. But today, let's get to our presenters we have today. Today, our special guests are from the University of California Cooperative Extension from UC Davis's Nutrition Education Department. This is an awesome organization providing free resources throughout the state in nutrition and physical activity. I personally worked with this group in Riverside, California for over 10 years. They're an awesome resource that you will want to be a part of. Leading the presentation today is Michelle Tabor, who is a physical activity program manager for CalFresh Healthy Living. Michelle focuses on integrated physical activity into the CalFresh Healthy Living program that is available to schools throughout the state. Michelle and her team from UC Cooperative Extension's presentation tonight is titled, "Don't Underestimate the Power of Physical Activity Breaks on Student Social and Emotional Learning." During this interactive webinar, you will have the chance to experience the impact of incorporating physical activity breaks into your classroom routine and learn about digital resources that can be used with all levels of education, whether in person or virtual. You will also learn how a physically active environment can help integrate social and emotional learning to help students deal effectively and ethically with daily tasks and challenges. And now we are excited to present to you Michelle Tabor.
Well, thank you, Patty. It's a pleasure to be here. I have my wonderful team here that's going to be helping me. So welcome to Don't Underestimate the Power of Physical Activity Breaks on Students' Social and Emotional Learning. Next slide. So presenting with me today, I have a whole team from Riverside County here, as Patty just mentioned. One is Claudia Carlos, the program supervisor, who's going to be doing a lot of behind the scenes there. And Itzel Palacios Sanchez, Daisy Valdez, Nicole Agosi, and Jackie Barahona. And they are all our nutrition educators. So this presentation originated when Riverside County team was asked by our 10-year partner at Alvord Unified School District to present at their Distance Learning Virtual Summit in August. And they were asked to present on a topic of physical activity in the classroom, and it was a huge hit. So we expanded it to include social emotional learning. And we are so delighted at the opportunity to share this time with you today and learn how we can continue to support you, all amazing teachers out there during this difficult time. So thank you. Next slide. So we have 4 main objectives that we're going to be presenting on today. The first is to learn how physical activity can help integrate social emotional learning. We'll explore the benefits of virtual physical activity breaks and share helpful and practical resources that can be done virtually. And then we'll have the chance to get up and move while we're demonstrating virtual activities for grades K through 12. And I do want to just emphasize one thing is that we are going to be focusing more on the physical activity in the classroom rather than on physical education today, because what we're finding from teachers, whether they're PE teachers or not, is there's a huge need for just the basics right now. And as we're all learning this distance learning and new platforms. So just wanted to let you know that. Next slide. All right, so how many people do we have on? About 24. So this is going to be an interactive one today. So I'm hoping, we are all hoping that you're willing to put on your cameras a little bit with us. Now this activity, you don't need to, but I do want to just say, if you're willing to and you can, and we love the whole family involved, we are going to get up and moving. So I hope you're excited about that. So this first activity is a welcome activity. So I would like you to describe, if you haven't already, in the chat box, what you think of the word and the image and their association. And Nicole, can you help me by just reading off some of the answers in that chat box?
Of course. So DJ said, tangles the mess. For me, when I see this image, I think of all in it together. Heidi talks about being stuck inside. Joyce says a tangled, knotty mess, right?
Yeah.
Julie says community spread. Okay, we're getting some great feedback. Aiken says, I don't think he enjoys the word COVID-19, but he prays that we can get through this mess, right? Joyce also mentions worldwide, right? So a sense of togetherness. Kendall says pulling in different directions, right? Shelby says a challenge we must overcome. That is definitely true. Yes. And then from YouTube, Jonathan says a ball of yarn, right? So if we put all this yarn together, of course, it's going to become a tangled mess, right? But with all of us together, we can help to unravel it.
Definitely. These are some great responses. Next slide. I just wanted to give you a little more information about what this activity actually is, because it does relate to social emotional learning. And it's from Castle's Social Emotional Learning Playbook, which is a free resource online. And we have the link there, and it'll be provided to you as well. And this resource includes a lot of practical ways to introduce and broaden the use of social emotional learning practices in the classroom. Obviously, it's also a great way where you can take these activities and adapt them for distance learning, as I've just done today. Next slide. I'm breaking it up a little bit more just to get you thinking here. It's a great way to open up your presentation or your lesson for that day. And also how it connects is as you open it, it's promoting creative and fluid thinking. It sparks conversation. It's establishing readiness for further exploration of a topic. And it can be explicitly connected to a literacy objective. So for example, I chose COVID-19 because it's probably the reason why we're all on this webinar today. And it's a very relevant topic. And I really wanted to just bring it up, kind of get the elephant out of the room and say, this is reality that we're living in. So you can choose any word or any image to spark a conversation and get a topic rolling. So the social emotional piece of this activity is that it helps the group focus on its energy on a topic in a very low risk way. And it helps to ensure that all voices are included. So I gave everybody the option to respond, and it strengthens social awareness. Next slide. So I keep using social emotional. I assume people are hearing that more if you haven't already been trained in this, but now more than ever, we need to be intentional about creating opportunity for physical activity throughout the school day. But it's not just for what we know, that physical health, it also can help develop positive social emotional behaviors and values while also priming the brain for learning. So what exactly is social emotional learning? Well, the Collaborative for Academic, Social and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, which I'll be referring to it as, defines it as a process. So it's not just for students though, which I bolded here, it's for adults, meaning as adults, we can't just guide and role model if we don't have the skills and competencies ourselves. And it's not just what you know, but what you do with what you know, right? So it's the skills, the attitudes to understand and manage emotions, to set and achieve positive goals, to show empathy for others. It really is asking students, how do you feel? And giving them these tools to be able to say and understand how to manage those feelings and emotions. Next slide. So there are 5 core competencies, which are the colored green, orange, and yellow in the middle. And then there are 3 domains that are on the outside. And they're on the outside because they don't just happen in the classroom. There's also at home and in communities that all of these competencies are happening in. And I'm going to go through each of the 5 core competencies and hopefully in fun and interactive way. So next slide. So just kind of give you an idea for this activity that's coming. I am going to be asking you what out of these 5 core competencies, those ones in the middle, do you find is your strength? Okay, you get to pick one, maybe they all are, but just pick one. And then I'm going to ask you, which one do you feel like is going to stretch you a little bit? The area that makes you feel like, oh, I kind of need to grow in that a little bit more. So think about those, and I'll go ahead and start discussing. So go ahead and go to the next. So we're going to start with self-awareness, which is identifying emotions, accurate self-perception, recognizing strengths, self-confidence, and self-efficacy. Next. Then we're going to go over to the right to self-management, which is impulse control, stress management, self-discipline, self-motivation, goal setting, and organizational skills. And then we'll go down to social awareness, which is more of that perspective, taking empathy, appreciating diversity, and respecting others. Next is relationship skills. So communicating, those social engagement, relationship building, and teamwork. And lastly, we have responsible decision-making, identifying problems, analyzing situations, solving problems, evaluating, reflecting an ethical responsibility. So in the chat box for this first round, I want you to go ahead and write down which of those areas you feel is your strength. And we'll go back to so you can see. So if Claudia can go back to those or just go forward, perfect. So just write down what in the colored, the 5 areas, not the bullet points. Which do you feel is your strength? I'm seeing relationship skills, which probably makes sense for a lot of you. Teamwork is in that, so I could see that. A lot of relationship skills. Self-awareness, yep. Self-management, hey, that's good. Social awareness, okay, social awareness, that's great. So we know ourselves. Social awareness, self-management. I'd say mine is relationship skills. All the green ones. Oh, you, Jonathan gets to say 2. That's a good way. Overachiever there. Okay, well, let's go on to the next one, which is the second round. Now I would like you to say what area you would say you might need to stretch a little bit or you want to grow in. And I know mine, which someone had it as their top one, self-management. I'm still working on that. Probably always will be. Got another self-management. Stretch is decision-making. Heidi says self-management. Yeah, what are we doing? Okay, by far it's self-management, and that's actually very common. Especially we probably feel that because we're seeing that stress management in there and impulse control. There's a lot going on, and so that might be sticking out more than ever right now. And so I want to just say that, you know, the good news is that we're all in this together. We are all going through this tough time, and we're all learning and working and practicing these skills so that we can become more competent. So they're competencies, they're not standards. So we're always becoming. And so that's the good news is we could probably all pick up areas of each of these that we would want to work on and that we're really strong in. So thanks for participating in that. We'll go on to our next slide. Great. So so emotions do matter, and there's lots of research that shows this. And so why is it important? Well, why are schools caring about this? We have plenty of research, right? The emotions drive our executive functions, your decision-making and judgment, your relationships, Emotions affect your health, both physical and mental, and your everyday effectiveness and success. So of course, educators want to do something like this to build in their students and in their classrooms. So next slide. There's a ton more research that shows that when you teach social emotional learning, you're not just gaining social emotional skills, but you're improving attitudes about self and others. So you have positive classroom behavior. There's even research that shows that there's 11 percentile point gain on standardized achievement tests when implementing social emotional learning practices. That's pretty significant. And we all know that this is very important for our schools right now. So probably hearing this more as a buzzword now than anything. There's plenty here that we can emphasize to why this is a very important thing that school districts should focus on. And we also know that it also reduces conduct problems, aggressive behavior, and social emotional distress. So the benefits have layers upon layers. Next slide. And so that's just a quick summary of some of them. And in addition, so the neuroscience benefits, there's tons of research out there as well. I really want to emphasize though that the benefits are not just for the students, but for the educators as well. So as educators, we teach social emotional learning, we engage in SEL and create space to practice the core competencies with the students. Those that do that tend to be less stressed, they have a better focus on what they're doing, and they have a better relationship with their students. Sounds great to me. So what's the bottom line? Is that students' achievement goes up and our time disciplining is going to go down. Next slide. So how do you do that? What's already in your tool belt? So the nice thing about this is that you do have things in your tool belt already. Physical education and classroom PA or physical activity. So creating opportunities for physical activity is a great way to embed social emotional learning practices into your students' day. Physical activity often helps promote teamwork, critical thinking, and social skills, right? So as many of you already know, the social emotional learning has always been a core component of physical education experience. It really is that foundation. An often quoted phrase is that play is the work of children, which highlights that children learn important social and emotional skills and behaviors because they're consistently interacting with others in playful activities. So through cooperative, competitive, experiential, and free play, children learn and develop a myriad of skills and behaviors, and that those form the foundation for social emotional learning. So many of you are probably already doing this, is what the point is. And so we have those tools, and now we maybe just need to dust them off a little bit if we haven't been doing them for a while. Next slide. So now focusing a little on the classroom-based physical activities. So in addition, research is demonstrating that classroom-based physical activity is enhancing on-task behavior compared with traditional sedentary learning environments. So for example, Matt Mayer, he's the director at the School of Exercise and Nutritional Science at San Diego State University. That's where I went for my undergrad in kinesiology and know him. So he wanted to know and asked, is classroom-based physical activity, does that enhance on-task behavior? So that's what he went out to research. And he found that students who were the least on task, okay, so maybe those students that you're constantly on and having to remind some things, so those students had the greater increase in on-time, on-task behaviors after physical activity compared to the rest of the student. So basically what I'm saying is those that needed the most benefited the most, which is huge. And so from that, he continued to do his research, and now he recommends 2 to 3 short physical activity breaks throughout your school day for students. And that's to keep them on task. And so that's extremely important right now, especially when we're doing distance learning. Most of us are doing 100% in California right now, and it's increasing that time in front of the screen. And so more than ever, we ourselves even need to get up, right? So next slide. So speaking of screen time, this is from the Center from Disease Control, and they came out with some amazing infographics if you haven't seen them. There's one picture there. But just to give you an idea, pre-COVID-19, and I know someone hates that word, but you know, pre-pandemic, students were in front of screens from ages 8 to 10, 6 hours, 11 to 14, 9 hours, and then 15 to 18-year-olds, 7.5 hours. And this, just so you know, is not counting educational time with you guys or time in homework. This is in addition. I don't even know if there's that many hours in a day, but pretty much it tells me that whenever they have free time, they're in front of a screen of some sort, in addition to when they're learning. So it's important now more than ever, again, to incorporate those physical activity breaks. I can't say that enough, because now, I mean, we're probably spending more hours in front of a screen during educational time, right? So my colleagues are going to be actually sharing some really fun and innovative ways, new resources, so that you guys can leave here hopefully with a couple new tools to put in your tool belt. But before they do, next slide. I just want to leave you with a few tips on reinforcing social emotional learning competencies. So the first one really on when you're planning with a purpose. So planning with a purpose, coming into the classroom already prepared, but already planning with embedding social emotional competencies will really help you within your lesson and your day, rather than simply adding in after the fact or in the last minute. Will really help you throughout the rest of your day, and it will also help you identify your goal. So establishing why the students are in the class with a social focus. For example, the goal is to have fun and help one another learn how to be healthy every day. That might be my goal. So it has a social component. And then establish rules and procedures that model the positive aspects of SEL. So keeping the rules simple and positive as possible. For example, maybe you would say, let's start with respect. Respect is treating everyone like you want to be treated. The rule applies to almost any instance of incorporating behavior and inappropriate behavior, can be understood by all age groups and focus on a positive behavior. So it's simple and understood by all. And the fewer rules, the better. So some of you might know this, but the more rules, the more discipline problems, and the more time you're just spending applying those rules. So keep it simple. And then make sure you're greeting students. So it's the beginning of the year, even if we're virtual, we really want to, as they're coming on, say, hi, Sam. Hey, Sarah. Something positive, even if it's just a smile. And of course, if you're in person, you can do some virtual high fives or something. And being intentionally positive is the takeaway here. Reinforce behaviors, repeat them. So all reinforced behaviors repeat themselves. So it's vitally important to provide higher rates of positive feedback than negative. And I was thinking about that going, yeah, that's at home too. Just positive reinforcing, and you'll probably get positive feedback in return. So maximize those opportunities for peer-to-peer interactions and reinforcement. So that might be a little more challenging, but we're going to show you some tools on how to do that today virtually. So one example is like, you can pin me and we can tell you how to do that, but that's available from Zoom, so you can see my partner all the time. when observing positive student social emotional behaviors, acknowledge the individual out loud, explain to them what you saw, and connect that behavior to some of the competencies that you want to reinforce. And then at the end of the school day or your class time, you want to share out what you observed and really reinforce again those positive behaviors and highlight that. All right, so I think it's time to hand it over to Jackie for some fun activities and get us up and moving because we're getting some num bums.
Thank you, Michelle. Before we move further into our presentation, we wanted to ask you all, why is physical activity important to you? So please log on to menti.com and enter the code 3791513, which you could also find at the top left portion of the slide and also in the chat. So once you enter the code, you're going to be able to hit submit and you'll be allowed to enter up to 3 responses. And if you can't access Menti, that's okay. Please respond in the chat. So once again, the code is 3791513. Okay, great. There's some responses coming in. So yes, mental health, reset, helps me to think better, makes me feel better. Yes, that's a big one for me, definitely. So stress, happiness. Ooh, that's a really good one too. Mental, yes. Energizes me, boosts mood, helps me keep sane. Yes, I like that one. Fun. Wow, these are some really great responses. Yes, for me, it's important because like many of you have said, it's a stress reliever. And for my mental health and health overall, I think it's really important to be up and moving every day. So thank you all for responding to our poll question. So now I'm gonna hand it off to my colleague itself.
Thank you, Jackie. And that was a great icebreaker. So thank you all for participating and sharing the importance of physical activity to you. Okay, so just to recap what Michelle has shared with us. So I'm going to state some student benefits. Now, PA breaks are going to provide students with this short, not just this short list, but with many more. So we're going to start off with improving concentration and the ability to stay on task. Okay, next is reducing disruptive behavior, kind of like fidgeting. It's going to help improve motivation and engagement of students in the classroom or class time. It's going to help increase the amount of daily physical activity. And then lastly, it's going to help improve academic performance. So now I'm going to hand it over to Daisy.
Thank you, Itzel. I would like to start by highlighting the image at the left. As you can see, after sitting quietly for a few minutes, there is a low minimal brain activity. In contrast, we can observe that after a quick 20-minute walk, there is significant increase in brain activity. In this study, the average composite of 20 students' brains were taken on the same test. It shows that the brain function goes down after sitting for 20 minutes. If students begin their test with more brain activity from the walk, then they carry that brain activity into the test. A study from Shape America found a correlation between fitness and standardized test scores. As fitness levels increase, so do higher test scores, just like Michelle had mentioned earlier. I will now lead us in a movement break that is suitable for pre-K through second grade. students. We will be using this Go Noodle dance video. If you are able to, please stand up and participate in this fun activity.
I got a feeling.
As we load the video, go ahead and stretch.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I got my money. Let's spend it up. Go out and smash it. Like, oh my gosh. Jump off that sofa. Let's get up. I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed, I don't wanna let it go. Let's go way out of space, got 'em losing all control. Fill up my cup, miles on top. Look at her dancing, just take it off. Let's paint the town, we'll shut it down. Let's burn the roof, and then we'll do it again. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Let's do it and do it, let's live it up. Do it and do it and do it, do it, do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Hey, let's live it up. Let's live it up. I got my money. Hey, let's spend it up. Let's spend it up. Go out and smash it. Smash it. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Jump off that sofa. Come on. Let's get up. Fill up my cup. Drink. Mazel tov. Look at her dancing. Move it, move it. Just take it off. Let's paint the town. Paint the town. We'll shut it down. Shut it down. Let's burn the roof. Woo! And then we do it again. Here we come. Here we go. We gonna rock. Easy come, easy go. Now we on top. Feel the shot. Body rock. Rock it, don't stop. Round and round. Up and down. Around the clock. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. Get with us. You know what we say. Party every day. Party every day. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Wonderful. How is everyone feeling? Feel free to let us know in the chat. Great. A little sweaty. I hope a little energized and awake as well. Okay. As you can see, Go Noodle is a collection of physical activity videos for students kindergarten through 12th. Many of you may already be familiar with Go Noodle. The reason we chose to highlight this video is that younger students especially learn best when engaged in kinesthetic learning. Did you know that 85% of people are kinesthetic learners? Creating an account is free for educators, students, and their families. Go Noodle also has a specific section for grown-ups to get the whole family moving. So feel free to check it out. Thank you. After our activity, did you feel more energized? Did you smile or laugh at any point during the activity? Do you feel more attentive or ready to focus? If you answered yes to any of these questions, it's most likely because you have more oxygen and glucose feeding your muscles and brain cells. Physical activity promotes neurogenesis, the growth of brain cells, and secondary dendritic branching, which is important for building and storing memories. In doing so, physical activity also increases the neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, histamine, which are essential to regulate and improve mood, appetite, motivation, and sleep cycles, which are all important and essential for learning. Physical activity ultimately primes the brain for learning. And now Jackie will lead us in a second physical activity break. Take it away, Jackie.
Great, thank you, Daisy. I will now be leading us in a PA break that is suitable for upper elementary. Fit Sanford Health is a great PA resource that is free for educators and family. This video is done with equipment, but the workouts can be done without equipment. Please stand up and enjoy this fun PA break for upper elementary.
So how good are your hops? And how strong are your hips? This fun workout is gonna put both to the test. Now we're going to start our warm-up with our overhead reaches. Bring one arm over your head, step out with the other leg, and lean. Now alternate to the other side. Keep going. Repeat back and forth quickly. Awesome. Good job, everyone. Make sure to engage your core muscles. Lean to the right, to the left. Again. Make sure to breathe. And done. Now to finish off our warm-up, we will be doing high knees. Lift one knee up high, one at a time. Lift the other knee up high. You can choose to pump your arms if you like, and it's always the opposite arm. Good job, everyone. Keep going. Awesome. Make sure to control your breathing. In 3, 2, and 1. Now let's get ready to move. Everyone grab your jump rope and start to jump rope at your own pace. If you ever get tangled, just start up again. Good job, everyone. Make sure to control your breathing. Keep going. Good job, everyone. You can even speed it up. And done. And now we'll be doing forwards and backwards jumps over the rope. Lay the jump rope across in front of you. Now jump over the rope and behind the rope. Above, behind. Keep going. Go back and forth. Back and forth. You can even speed it up. Now make sure your breathing is controlled. And done. And now we'll be doing side-to-side jumps over the rope. Lay the jump rope to the side of you. Now jump to the side of the rope, to the other side. Side, to the next side. 1 and 2. Keep going. You can even speed it up. Good job, everyone. Keep going. And keep repeating. Good job, everyone. Now go back and forth. Awesome. And done. Now let's get ready to hula hoop. Put your jump ropes away. Pick up your hula hoop, put it around your waist, and start spinning. If it ever falls, just pick it up and start up again. Try to keep it up the whole time though. Keep spinning. Good job, everyone. Keep going. Keep going. Slight movements of the waist. And done. And now we're gonna hula hoop with our arms. Put the hula hoop around your arm, give it a little push, and start spinning. If you ever drop it, just pick it up again and keep going. Keep spinning for a little while longer. Now we're gonna switch. Awesome. Keep spinning. And done. And now for our cool down. Place your hula hoops down. And now we'll be doing our overhead stretch. Reach to the sky, hold your hands together, and keep reaching. Stretch. Keep stretching. Good job, everyone. Keep stretching. Reach to the sky. Reach as far as you can. Stretch. This is a good stretch. Keep stretching. Reach as far as you can. Good job. And now for our last cool down stretch. Place your feet together. Now try and touch your toes. Keep going. Make sure your knees are slightly bent. Keep stretching. Keep breathing too. Go as far as you can go. Try to touch your toes. And done. Did you know you could get such a good workout from your jump rope and hula hoop? Great job.
Okay. Do you all feel more energized now? Please let us know how you're feeling in the chat. I see it, some folks were asking where, okay, Michelle shared. Great, thank you, Michelle. So these are great PA videos that you could share with your students in the classroom and as well as in the family, at home with their families. So now back to Daisy.
Thank you, Jackie. Did you know that the benefits of a 5 to 10 minute break can last up to 20 minutes? Like we mentioned earlier, for students engaging in more vigorous exercise, the benefits can last up to 90 minutes. As more muscles are being used for longer periods of time, more oxygen and glucose are becoming available and entering the body, stimulating the brain. My colleague Nicole will now talk more about physical activity breaks for middle school students. Take it away, Nicole.
Thank you, Daisy. So I'm going to be talking about physical activity breaks that are suitable for middle school students. So here we have a list of different physical activity breaks, and I'm going to demonstrate the last one. So the first two, the challenge and the popcorn, are going to help boost peer-to-peer interaction, right? So the first one, challenge, that's actually where you pick an activity, say a wall squat or a plank. The students then have peer-to-peer interaction and see who can hold that position the longest. The winner of that challenge will get to come up with their next challenge for their next physical activity break. Similar to popcorn reading, popcorn is going to help boost that peer-to-peer interaction as well. So one student can start off by, say, doing jumping jacks for 15 to 30 minutes. After doing that for 15 to 30 minutes, they're going to popcorn to another student in the class to come up with another physical activity break for the same amount of time. Do this for 2 to 3 minutes, and it's going to help prime the brain for learning, like Daisy and Michelle mentioned. Using interactive media during this time is a great way to have students create buy-in, so they're more likely to engage in physical activity breaks. On the right, I have a screenshot of a Kahoot poll. So using items like Kahoot or using polls to gain interaction with students so they have buy-in and they choose what they would like to do for that day. And again, make sure to make it fun. Have them vote on to do their favorite TikTok dance, either have a dance party, do arm circles, squats. The possibilities are endless. And during this call, I would like to demonstrate the last one, the dice roller game. This is very simple, zero prep for teachers. All you have to do is Google dice roller. The first roll is going to signify what activity we're going to be doing, And the second tells us how many times that activity is going to be performed. So Claudia, can you roll the dice? 6, great. And again, 2. So we are going to do activity 6 from our pre-made list 2 times. So activity 6 is lunges. So if everybody can join me and do lunges, and remember to stretch out your legs before we do this activity. All right, so lunges. So everybody ready? We're gonna do 2 lunges and go. 1 lunge and 2 lunges. Great. This is a really simple way to include physical activity breaks that is 0 prep, and it uses interactive media or social media to have students feel connected. So physical activity and the body. I'm sure everybody on this call knows the physical benefits of PA, right? A lot of you guys are wonderful PE teachers. So of course, physical activity is going to help us increase our strength. It's going to control our weight, help boost our muscles, right? And it's going to help improve our health. So things like asthma, chronic disease, it's going to lower the chance of having those issues in life. So along with the physical benefits of physical activity, we see that there's a lot of social emotional benefits from being active and physical activity. So with consistent physical activity breaks and PA, we're going to boost self-esteem. It's going to help regulate our sleep, which can be thrown out of whack since we're doing social distancing and virtual learning. It's going to give us confidence, right? So after a workout, we feel really refreshed and confident, ready to start our day. And that could be the same for students in the classroom. They can be more confident in their schoolwork, in their daily lives. And especially during these difficult times, there's a higher risk of having anxiety, stress, and depression. So having physical activity and physical activity breaks, it's really going to help reduce those things, especially during a time of virtual learning, social distancing during this time. So I urge everyone to take advantage of PA and physical activity breaks because it's going to help develop positive social emotional behavior. So I want everybody to take a second and think about their favorite teacher. Why were they your favorite teacher? What made them stand out in your mind? Feel free to in the chat, say why your favorite teacher was your favorite. And for me, my favorite teacher was my 2nd grade teacher. She was wonderful because during recess, she would actually play tag with us. She would push us on the swings and really play with us on the playground, right? And then Kendall says they took time to build a connection, right? So actually involving yourself in the physical activity breaks, adding movement and music to the physical activity breaks as a teacher can help you become your student's favorite teacher, right? So Michelle said that they played outside with us. Sue talked about their teacher being well prepared and positive, right? So having physical activity breaks in the classroom can make you become your student's favorite teacher. It builds a sense of belonging, especially during right now when we feel kind of lonely. Bonding between students, right? So physical activity breaks and the teacher being a part of those physical activity breaks is really going to help bonding between classmates as well as you as a teacher. And with physical activity breaks, you have a high chance of the student remembering you and the material for a long time to come because you're creating memories, you're bonding with them, and it's just a great way to have that special bond that can last a lifetime. And I'll pass it over to my colleague Itzel that's going to talk about high school physical activity breaks.
Thank you, Nicole. So like she mentioned, I'm going to share some resources for high school teachers. And so these ideas, these examples can also be used in middle school and vice versa. And teens like to be treated as adults. They want to be treated as adults. Giving them the choice and letting them select PA breaks, like voting through a Menti poll or a Kahoot, can encourage them to participate. Allowing the students to lead on a PA break can also make the class more engaging for themselves and their peers. With distance learning, students won't physically be in PE every day, so small PA breaks like the ones presented today can make a difference in the student's day. The American Heart Association website has a long list of activity breaks in a file titled In-School Activity Breaks. It has about 132 different ones, but here I am highlighting number 78 to show you how you can adapt different activities to the current environment we have today, which is social distancing. So it is titled True or False, and it reads, prepare a list of true or false questions based on class content. Arrange chairs in a circle, have students walk around the chairs and listen to the question and determine if the answer is true or false. If the answer is true, they find a chair and sit down. If the answer is false, they do need to elbow touches. An adaptation of this activity would be having the students stand next to their chair and march in place, okay? And they will listen to the questions just like the instructions say. Another option is sharing simple stretching videos as well as videos that help reduce stress, like the ones shared by UCLA MoveMail, which we will try together.
Hi everyone, I'm Liz, your MoveMail trainer. This is how I like to start my day. Won't you join me? Go ahead, make sure you have space to do a few stretches and reach your arms up overhead and then bring them back down and reach them up one more time. We're going to grab onto your opposite wrist and pull over and feel that stretch along your sides. Reach, 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 and bring it on down. Make sure you're in a nice wide stance, and we're going to go ahead and twist. As you do this, I want you to make sure that you take your heels with you. So lift them up off the floor and just twist that torso right there. One more time, and back to center. I bring my feet here right under my hips now, and I'm going to reach down towards my toes. One time, and one more time, this time grabbing onto my elbows. And letting myself hang a little further, bend my knees, and then roll on back up. I'm just going to take those shoulders and roll them back a few times, roll them forward a few times. All right, and now I'm ready to do a few circles here. Keep your jaw nice and comfortable, and we're going to go back to the other side, other direction rather. Let's do a standing cat-cow for our shoulders. So I want you to reach out and round your shoulders and then reach out to your sides and open up that chest. We're going to do it one more time. Round like so, and then open up that chest while keeping your glutes and your core engaged for that stretch, okay? Moving on down to the lower body, take a nice wide stance, and we're going to lunge side to side here. I like to spend a little bit of time here feeling that stretch in the inner thigh on this side. Same thing on the other side. And let's turn to this side here. Stretch and stretch, keep those hips back as you do this and your feet nice and flat. Next, take a staggered stance. This is for your hip. Reach up a little bit over to the side and switch to the other side. Up, a little bit over to the side. Keep that back glute engaged. And down. Go ahead and move those feet. Stretch them out side to side. You can even roll out those ankles a little bit. I'm going to go around the other direction. I feel pretty ready for the day. How about you? Keep checking your mail, everyone. Keep moving.
Okay, so that was great. I feel a little better now. So how do you guys feel now? This is our 4th activity. Let us know in the chat if you liked it. And so the next slide. Now, throughout the presentation, we've explored the importance of including PA breaks. And according to Dr. Rady, exercise is the single most powerful tool you have to optimize your brain function. Activity and learning are inextricably woven. And in the next slide, I want to continue with letting you know that adding breaks to your class can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. These are some strategies to keep in mind when planning to include PA breaks. And making PA breaks a routine can render better results for students. There is a chance that one may run into problems when showing videos or sharing links. So it's always a good idea to have a backup plan. Maybe even repeating a PA break that has already been done in the past. And last but not least, make sure to make it fun. You'd be surprised how much some of these PA activities can influence your students. Now, Jackie will talk about an example of how planned PA activities could look on a schedule.
Thank you, Itzel. Consistency is key, so don't forget to schedule in your PA breaks during the school day. It doesn't matter when you move, as long as you move throughout the day with your students. Next slide, please. Okay, as we wrap up our presentation, we have a final poll to ask you all. Our question is, how often are you currently incorporating PA breaks in your classroom? So once again, please log on to menti.com and enter the same code as before, which was 3791513 and hit submit. And you will be able to answer the poll question. Okay, so I see there's some responses coming in. Okay, our options are yes, very likely. It's already in my lesson plan. Yes, I plan to schedule PA breaks and maybe I'll consider it. And lastly, not likely. Okay, so right now, 51% are saying yes, I plan to schedule PA breaks. Okay. Well, thank you all for participating in our final poll question. That's great to hear that the majority of you are planning to schedule in PA breaks in your lesson plans. Here, many of our resources are already on the CAHPERD website, along with many more. We hope you find these resources helpful. And okay, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I would just wanted to also say thanks for participating in all of those physical activities. Normally, you wouldn't be doing so many back-to-back, but hopefully this was the most interactive one that you've been on for quite some time. And we'd really like to thank all of you for all that you're doing right now, helping students. Your dedication to students' well-being is not going unnoticed. We're all talking about it. We all see you. We would also like to thank Patty Supay, who invited us here today. CalFresh Healthy Living UC looks forward to continuing to work alongside CAHPERD to promote healthful lifestyles among Californians. So if you have any questions, next slide, that's my contact information. Our website is there, and we will provide these slides to Patty, so they'll be available with the links, but we have been putting those in to the chat box as well. So all those resources will go to you. I do want to just mention that we have been providing CAHPERD with all of the resources that we find really useful. So the best place to start is on the CAHPERD resource website. And so if there's any questions, we're happy to take them. Otherwise, thank you so much again.
Okay, while we're waiting to see if there's any questions, I again want to thank Michelle and the entire team from UC Cooperative Extension. It was an awesome presentation. And I need to remind everybody that you can find this on the CAHPERD website, as well as the YouTube channel from CAHPERD. You can see this video again, and you can catch anything that you missed the first time around. Thank you very much. What an awesome team. I missed you guys, miss working with you, and appreciate all the help that you're doing for CAHPERD.
I think someone raised their hand.
I'm not seeing.
Nicholas,
Nicholas, yeah.
did you have a question?
No, I just want to say thank you, and it was very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Where are you from? Where's your home?
No, San Jose, California. Because
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to develop an online archery class at San Jose City College and at San Jose State. So I'm looking at, well, we can't go face to face. So it's kind of like, how am I going to teach archery without the equipment? So that's, and all these activities might be just enough to get the students, the older students, you know, community college and adult, maybe a little bit more active during that whole day, and they can find some stretches or routines that they could do that they enjoy, and maybe with their family members. So that was interesting. And on the resources that you provided. Thank you.
You're welcome. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to just say for those that are sticking on for anything else, again, thank you. And I would check out CAHPERD, who also links to so many of our great partners, Shape America. Every time I go on there, I seem to see something new from the same organizations. So I've been telling my staff, just because you don't see it last week doesn't mean you won't see it next week. So everybody's working really hard. And now that we've been extended in this virtual world, people are still working hard to create new things, knowing that California's probably in this for the long haul. So go to your favorite websites and look around, because there's probably something new. That would be my best suggestion.
Absolutely.